Love your life.
Love your life.
Love your life. Get ready to be inspired this Ramadan, a show like no other, one that aims to inspire you to live a life you love.
Love your life.
Love Your Life, daily from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m.
And will be repeated at 12 midnight. Love your life.
with our Sayyida Mayya Al Said.
On your nation station, Oman FM.
Are you ready to love your life? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're tuned in to your nation station. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, on your program, Love Your Life. If this is the first time you're tuning in, you've missed so much, so many inspirational topics that we talked about. But guess what? You're lucky, because all the past episodes of Love Your Life are on my YouTube channel, The Sewist. Today, we're going to be talking about check your ego at the door. You're probably thinking, what, Mayya? What is this today? Check your ego at the door. Just give me a couple of seconds and I'll explain to you what this is all about. I just have to remind you that, this is a live show. You're more than welcome to join me on my discussion of this topic. And you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. This show is right up until 3:30. Good thing is, you are able to listen to it again at 10 past midnight. I believe it will be repeated on your nation station. All right, so check your ego at the door. Mayya, what is this about? Before we actually dive into the topic of me explaining to it, I think it's important for us, or for me, to tell you what ego means. What is the definition of the word? That means a person's sense of self-esteem or importance. So basically, it's your idea of you, especially your feelings and of your own importance or your opinion. Another way of saying it is leave your pride and arrogance at the door. I think now you're getting a picture of what this is today. Leave your pride and arrogance at the door. I could have said that. I could have used it as a title, but I wanted you to think a bit, because usually this word ego is not used, and if it's used, it's mainly used, for example, when I came to research about the topic, about people who start training heavily, because there's a sense that you can't do better than somebody because you're better, or a sense that there's like you're in competition with somebody. You're not in competition with anybody. You're always in competition with yourself. So that's many of the people who go into training, they always tell them, you have to check your ego at the door. So our life is a projection of us, and what we give to it is essentially what we get back. So if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. Hence why it is important to remain focused on giving our best self every single day. The thing is, many might associate or confuse the word ego and confidence. I don't know, there's a very thin line, and I wonder if any of you have realized that. Just a reminder that this is a live show. You're more than welcome to call me on your nation station by dialing 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Today with me in the studio, the engineer Salih Al Masrouri, who will gladly transfer the calls over to me. Just a reminder, as I always do, as much as I'd love to hear from you, your safety and the safety of others around you is very important. So please don't risk that. So as I was saying, what was I saying? Yes, I was asking you about if you knew the difference between confidence and ego. And the primary difference between them is that confidence, as you know, has the ability to move us forward in life, because it's telling you have what it takes and you can do it, inshallah. However, ego tends to hold us back because we tend to be defensive and we avoid self-reflection. So it stops us from thinking, okay, I didn't do that well. Can we do that well? Because my ego is telling me I'm better than this. I can do this. And sadly, the many drawbacks to having this ego, because it affects many areas in your life, and within the show you will see what I'm talking about. If you're wondering, do I have an ego, or is it something that's affecting you? I'm going to say a statement, and you will have to, listening to the statement, the answer will be in the statement. So here it goes. If someone corrects you and you feel offended, then you have an ego problem. Do you see where this is going? If someone corrects you and you feel offended, then you have an ego problem. Let me know your thoughts. You can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Today's topic is check your ego at the door. You're listening to Your Nation Station with your host Mayya Al Said on your program Love Your Life. Your ego can stop you from growing, your personal growth. In one of the episodes I talked about the importance of self-development, but if your ego is there, it's going to stop you from growing, which is a shame, because we have so much potential and your ego will be limiting you and stopping you from achieving that. It keeps us from fully learning from the life lessons. Life is a huge lesson, and in it are chopped many small lessons that you learn by living life, subhanallah. And if your ego is very much in your life, it stops you from seeing or from benefiting from the lessons that life is teaching us. So here's the thing. How do I know what it looks like? So let's go through the ego talk. What is this going to be? What does it look like? You probably now have an inclining, is that even a word? An inclining or a feel for what I'm getting. May I just use simple words? Okay. So you might have a feel from where I'm going with this. Usually ego shows up and says, I am better than so-and-so because of whatever. Or there's another side of it which says, I am worse than so-and-so. Truth of the matter is, we are all the same. Yet, we are beautifully different. We all have skills. We all have capabilities. We all can achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. But we have to not think that we are better than somebody, because we aren't better at anybody. Subhanallah. So it's something that we have to be grounded in ourselves and remember that we are all the same, subhanallah. So that's something to remember. And the thing is that I didn't realize that the other side of ego is this. It has two sides, and it's ready to attack you and bring you down, either by making you feel you are the best and nobody can beat you because you are all of that. Sadly, that will ruin your relationships if you continue to do that, and you'll find yourself being your best at being alone. So that is why I decided to talk about this, because our life, we can't live our life alone. Even though there's sometimes we feel we really want to be alone, and it's in our right to want to, have that me time and connect with ourselves and enjoy what we want to do. But living life alone is a very, very lonely life, and which can lead to a really dark place. And if you continue to have that ego very much predominant in your life, then that's how you're going to end up, sadly. And the other side is making you feel incompetent. So one side is saying you're the best, nobody can bring you down and all of that talk. And then there's another side that says you're not good enough and you can't do this, and it stops you from achieving anything in your life. So it has two faces, and we need to know that this is what it is and what it's doing to us. Now, in no way am I saying that you shouldn't believe in yourself and your capabilities. Remember, that is having the confidence and the belief in yourself. And I told you that there are two main differences between having an ego and having confidence in yourself. And usually one of the ways for you to combat this ego in you is to do the exact opposite of what ego is telling you to do. So if ego is telling you you are best or you are better than so and so, you should actually reverse that thinking. Actually try and see, am I really the best? Question what your ego is telling you. You need to bring ego down. And for example, if it's telling you that you're not good enough or that you can't do whatever it is you want to do for whatever X, Y, and Z, do exactly what it's telling you not to do. I hope this gives you a taste for what's to come. Remember that as much as I have these things to share, this show wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for you. Sadly, I have no guests with me on the show. So guess what? You get to be my guest, and you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. But just call me after this break.
There's so much more when you tune in and win daily with Oman FM's Ramadan Bonanza.
Ramadan Bonanza.
Amazing prizes and surprises every night this Ramadan with June live at the Muscat City Center. And get a chance to win a return air ticket to the exotic Maldives, Muscat, courtesy of Sri Lankan Airlines. All you gotta do is just answer the question, what is Sri Lankan Airlines frequent flyer program called? Send an SMS with your name and the answer to 90407. Hurry! Contest closes 8:30 p.m. June 18, 2017. So, what are you waiting for? Start texting now. And don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, 90.4 Oman FM, Ramadan Bonanza, nightly from 8 to 9 p.m. with June, here on the Nation Station. Join now.
Love your life.
Love your life.
Love your life. Get ready to be inspired this Ramadan, a show like no other, one that aims to inspire you to live a life you love.
Love your life.
Love Your Life, daily from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m.
And will be repeated at 12 midnight. Love your life.
with our Sayyida Mayya Al Said.
On your nation station, Oman FM.
Are you ready to love your life? Welcome back to Your Nation Station. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, also known as the Sewist, on your daily Ramadan program, Love Your Life. Today we are talking about check your ego at the door. If you missed the first part of the show, I'll just tell you that we went through what ego means as the definition of the word. We talked about it's your self-importance. I talked about the difference between confidence and your ego. And I also went through the points of saying ego talk, what it was, and it's like thinking you're better than somebody, or it could have the reverse effect of worse than somebody. May I remind you that this is a live show. If you're listening right now, guess what? You can join me. Let me know your thoughts on this topic, check your ego at the door, and you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Engineer Salih Al Masrouri will gladly transfer the calls. Just a couple of reminders. Please don't risk your life and the life of others around you. As much as I'd love to hear from you, I want you to be safe. When you do call me, make sure you don't listen to me through the radio. Reduce the radio and just listen to me through the phone to not cause any discrepancies in the sound. And I guess that's all the reminders that I needed to let you know. Moving on to today's topic, check your ego at the door, which another way of saying it, if you missed the first part, is leave your pride and arrogance right at the door, because it can be a big interference. Another thing about ego talk is judgment. Whenever you are judging someone else, guess what? There's a secret. Whatever we judge most harshly is often a behavior you secretly wish you could get away with. Makes sense, doesn't it? We don't really think of these things, but when you dig deeper and in a topic or whatever issue that is, you come to find out, because you're seeking information, because you want to be better, you want to have a better life, you come across these topics that you think, wow, you might have not paid much attention to, but when you come and really dig into it, you find out things that you didn't know. And that is what makes the beauty of life, because you want to live a better life, then you will find ways to make this life good for you or work for you. Just a reminder that this is a live show. I am with you from 2:30 right up until 3:30. You're more than welcome to call me to discuss the topic on the show today, which is check your ego at the door. You can do so by calling 2460 2058 2460 2058. May I remind you that this show will be repeated at 10 minutes past midnight on your nation station. You're also more than welcome to listen to all the past episodes. I believe we are episode 20, mashallah, of this show, and you can do so by going on my YouTube channel and typing in the Sewist, and everything will appear. One of the main reasons, honestly, that I decided to put this topic in the show is because I realized how much it affects our relationships. All of our relationships, but mainly the relationships we have with our spouses or partners. Because ego is the only requirement to destroy any relationship. So be a bigger person, skip the E and let it go. Because the word ego is spelled E-G-O. So it's saying skip the E and just let it go. So let whatever matters that is stopping you from being or saying things, just let it go. Because to me, personally, it's not worth it. And I hope by the end of this episode, you will understand why it's not worth it either. Three-letter words. Sorry. The three letters E, G, and O. Ego. It keeps us from saying things we really want when we talk about being with our partner or our spouses, such as the following: the simple, most powerful words you can tell anyone how much they mean to you. I love you. Or I miss you. And the most difficult one, which really tests your ego, is I am sorry. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree about this? If not, let me know. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. You can do so by calling 2460 2058 2460 2058. As always, I have to say this. Please do not risk your life or the life of others around you. As much as I'd love to hear from you, I want you to be safe. Apologizing. Saying the words I'm sorry doesn't always mean that you are wrong and the other person is right. It means that you value your relationship more than your ego. If there is one tip I'd love to share with anyone who's married or going through or thinking of getting married or anything, the person who you're choosing to be with today, the person who have decided who you wanted to be with all those many years ago, is still the same person that you love, that you fell in love with, that you are with today. Yes, life has happened, things have changed, but you have to, if you're still married and you maybe not in a happy place, there are things that need to change, and one of them is your ego. You need to let go, because as I said earlier, that your relationship is valuable, the person in your life is valuable, and there's nothing worse than not having the chance or opportunity to tell that person how much they mean to you, especially if ego is in the way. Your self-importance, no, he's the one that's supposed to come and say I'm sorry, or she's the one that's supposed to say sorry. you know what you're risking here? You're risking your happiness. Is it worth it? Think about it. Let me know what you think while you're thinking about it by calling 2460 2058. 2460 2058. Salih Al Masrouri is waiting as much as I am for your calls, for your contributions, because as much as I love being here in the studio, sharing my thoughts on this topic, it's not going to be beneficial if all you hear is me. I'd love to hear your views. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So call me. Let me know what you are thinking. Today we are talking about check your ego at the door. Your arrogance, leave it behind. It's not required when it comes to relationships. Yes, you value yourself, you value the person, but there's a very thin line as to how much this ego can affect your relationship. And we have a caller. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. How are you?
Very, very interesting topic.
Thank you so much. Let me know. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's very sad, to see a lot of people having this attitude, the ego thing.
Yeah.
Okay, although it's against, the Islamic teaching, we are required to be modest, okay, humble, and like sometimes you just need to learn how to say sorry when you're wrong.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of people nowadays, they're not willing to apologize when they make a mistake. They're not willing to share their feelings sometimes because they believe it's sort of reducing their status.
Yeah, their worth.
Especially men. Sometimes, they think they are not supposed to apologize, for women, which is really sad. Everybody has feelings, so you need to express your feelings. And when you make a mistake, you just, have to say, I'm wrong.
Yeah. And we're all bound to make mistakes. It doesn't matter what gender you are, male, female, whatever it is. We are going to make mistakes, and we need to be able to forgive ourselves and to ask for forgiveness from those we have wronged, no matter who they are.
Correct.
And when we have this ego, it stops us from doing this. And this is why I decided to have this on the show, to let you know that you can't let ego take over your life, because you will end up being alone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Ahmed, for
Maya.
your call. Have a good day. So you're more than welcome. First of all, thank you, Ahmed, for your call. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me. And guess what? My listeners, you can do the same as well, and I'd love to hear from you. You're listening to Your Nation Station. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, on your program, Love Your Life, where we discuss topics that matter, such as today. Check your ego at the door. Leave your arrogance, leave your ego at the door. It's not required here. You can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. As I said earlier, that having your ego right up in your head and it's ruining your life, it affects mainly your relationship. And this relationship can be whatever, any kind of relationship, your friends, your family, your spouse, the relationship you have at work, any relationship is going to be affected if you let ego take over. It's better to lose your ego to the one you love than to lose the one you love because of your ego. Again, this also taps into one of the things I talked about in my show. Whatever it is that's going on between you, your spouse, your partner, try and get it resolved before you head to bed. Before you head to bed, because you have no guarantee that there's tomorrow for you to talk it over. And I believe we have a caller. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, madam?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, sir?
Fine, ma'am. Alhamdulillah, today subject is very good. Everyone has the ego problem is there.
Yes.
Directly or indirectly.
True.
I don't say that only few people are having the ego problem. No, we are human beings. Allah Ta'ala has given certain egos. In some ways, in good way, we have to do it, or sometimes we'll do it in bad way also. That is wrong.
True.
Okay. What I want to tell you is sometimes we'll be compromising on someone's ego. Like, we'll be doing something good. Other people have their ego problem. It means you are compromising. It means you are making me, what I want to tell you is, you are becoming equal to me. They got jealous of that. Some people we have seen in our life practically.
Okay.
That is very bad. Even though we might not be thinking that we want to equal to them or above to them, but since they have that standard, if at all we started matching to that standard level coming up, they have got ego problem. Wow.
Okay.
You are coming to ego. Can you please advise on that?
First of all, I just need you to, if you can give me an example, because I'm not quite getting what
Okay.
you...
What I will tell you, generally in friend circle, what will happen, suppose somebody is having good vehicle. Example, they are having BMW car. Suppose the guy, another beer, his colleague, his friend, suddenly start purchasing the similar model or little bigger model. They say, you are comparing and you are taking more than my car. Means he got ego problem.
Yes.
He's not appreciating that. Guy, you have taken, I like it. No. He also know very well it's not so easy to afford it out.
Subhanallah.
But still he means he is comparing himself that you are coming to equal to my ranking.
Okay,
That
I got you. Thank you so much
Okay, ma'am.
for your
Thank you.
contribution. Have a good day. All right, so here it's an ego. It's more than one problem. Here, this guy who, for example, who wants to be equal to this other person. First of all, we're all equals. Even in Allah's eyes, we're all equal except in our faith. So if we come now to our level as humans, and first of all, comparing ourselves is the first way of losing your self-worth. Why do you compare yourself to anyone? No matter in what area in your life, cars, relationship, kids, whatever, everything is rizq, everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not saying we do not strive, we strive, but if somebody has more than I have or whatever, this is all a test, it's all part of living life. And I just think that they should stop comparing themselves honestly to anybody, because one, we are all unique, two, there's nobody like me, and three, it's not really going to help me, is it? So that's how I would deal with this situation. But today's topic is check your ego at the door. Leave your arrogance. Leave that I am the better person or better thing or whatever it is. Where it is, at the door. Leave it behind. Don't let it ruin your life or your relationships. You are listening to your nation station, Oman FM. This is your host, Mayya Al Said. You are more than welcome to join me on today's topic by dialing 2460 2058, 2460 2058. I'll go back to saying how important it is in a relationship, especially in a marital spouse, because many of these feelings of I'm better than, or I should expect her to come or him to come or whatever it is, we're dealing with husbands and wives, people who are very important to us. At some point we really wanted to be with this person, and suddenly it is a matter of ego, of who is going to say sorry first. Really? Is this what it comes down to? I know that there are many situations that build upon this. But really, as I said earlier, is it worth it? Just think about that. I'll leave you with that thought for just a minute. Oh, I think we have a caller. I was just going to go for a break. We have a caller, Frank? Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Just I want to say my thoughts. My name is Sayyida Ramadani.
Hello, Saeed. How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Please share your thoughts.
Can be there an healthy ego or it is confidence?
Yes, that's what I said. There's a main difference between confidence and ego. So the confidence, it tells you that, okay, you can do this, and it's a healthy, as you said it, and it pushes you forward. But ego, it pushes you back. It's holding you back.
Yeah, because I know something from everything. So I give a lot of my opinion for many people. But I allow people to correct me if I'm mistaken. But when I say my information, I say it with a confidence. But I don't want to offend anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, so I share with a huge confidence. But at the same time, I'm accepting any correction from anybody.
That's saying that you don't have ego, because if you had ego, you would have to be right in whatever situation or discussion or whatever. For you, if somebody who had ego, that end of the discussion was, okay, Saeed is right. This is you winning, because for you it's all about being right. For somebody who has ego, but somebody who doesn't have ego, just as you well rightly put, that is just sharing information, and you can do it confidently because you are sure of this information. But that doesn't in no way says that you have ego issues.
One thing, people when they don't have when they have strong explanation, and then end will describe you that you have ego. But actually, maybe you don't have ego, but because they are not willing to discuss you with a proper way, or they don't have strong information or data, so they will end saying, "Oh, you don't want to say you are wrong." But actually, sometimes it's not about wrong. Sometimes it's just they are not have something you can say a strong argument.
Yes, it seems they're the ones with the ego issue.
Okay.
And
I think I have little. I think.
Pardon?
I think I have little ego, but I'm allowed to people to correct me if they have proper argument, strong information, data source. Then I allow them to correct me.
The thing is, when you said I have a little bit of ego, I believe we all have it. Just as my previous caller said, we all have ego, but it depends at what level are we allowing it to affect our judgment and the way we present ourselves to people. We all have it, but as you know, as long as you're aware that you have it and you don't let it take over.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Saeed, for your call. Have a good day.
Thank you for your show.
You're most welcome. So that was a great contribution from Saeed. Yes, I confess, we all have it, but it's important to know and to be aware of it and let it not control our life. With that, I shall take a short break, and now we have Frank with me in the studio. So we'll just take a short break and we'll be right back on your nation station. Don't you go anywhere.
There's so much more when you tune in and win daily with Oman FM's Ramadan Bonanza.
Ramadan Bonanza.
Amazing prizes and surprises every night this Ramadan with June live at the Muscat City Center. And get a chance to win a return air ticket to the exotic Maldives, Muscat, courtesy of Sri Lankan Airlines. All you got to do is just answer the question, what is Sri Lankan Airlines frequent flyer program called? Send an SMS with your name and the answer to 90407. Hurry! Contest closes 8:30 p.m. June 18, 2017. So, what are you waiting for? Start texting now. And don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, 90.4 Oman FM. Ramadan Bonanza, nightly from 8 to 9 p.m. with June. Here on the Nation Station. Join now.
Love your life. Welcome back to your Nation Station. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, on your show, Love Your Life. And I say that with a smile because I hope you love your life as much as I love mine. We are blessed to have this life, so let's make the most of it and love it. Just a reminder that this is a live show. You're more than welcome to call me. I'm here right up until 3:30, and you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Today's topic is check your ego at the door. We've already talked about the definition of ego, the difference between confidence and ego, and we've had the ego talk, and I've emphasized how important it is to really banish ego, especially in relationships. Being right, the desire to always want to be right, will destroy your relationship, no matter what it is. One with your family, your spouse, your kids, at work. This notion of always wanting to be right, well, guess what? You can't always be right. It doesn't work that way. And you have to be okay with that. But ego won't let you. Right? What do you think? Let me know. You know the number, 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Another thing is fear of rejection. Here's another taste of ego. It stops you from achieving your goals because you're afraid, of being, rejected or failing. And, ego says, no, you can't do this because you'll fail. So that's stopping you. from doing things. Just as I said earlier, it's stopping you from self-reflecting and from self-developing your ability to be the best version you can be. In a relationship, ego can come again in the method of hanging on. We hang on in a relationship because our ego won't let us accept our judgment was wrong about who we chose as a partner. I know this is deep, and I know that it might seem really difficult for many of you, but it's the truth. Sometimes in very negative relationships, some people still stay for whatever reason. There could be many reasons. I'm not saying ego is the one reason, but it comes up in this form that says you can't be wrong. This is, it can't be your fault. So this is where ego comes in. And I really would love to know your thoughts on this topic. And you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. So we've been talking about ego and how it's stopping you from living your life because of the way you think. You do realize that many of the things I talk about, or the majority of the episodes of Love Your Life, is all about the way you think. You do realize that, because guess what? You have the power to change your life, but you can only do so if you change the way you think, and you have the power to do that. So, how do we manage this ego? First thing is, I ask you, if you tend to have this feeling of, do I feel superior to others? Do I feel like I am better than Fulana or Allan? Or, this feeling that nobody can bring you down? You have an ego problem, my friend. Or, if you think inferior to others, as I said earlier, they come in two shapes. This this ego thing. Either that you're too good or you're not good enough. So it's the same in these two questions. Do I feel superior to others, or do I feel inferior to others? Both situations, although they're heading the opposite directions, they're equal to your ego. So one of the reasons how you can manage this is, first of all, be aware of your ego. And as soon as you sense it creeping up, snap out of it. Just as I said earlier, you can do opposite of what it asks you to do, because then you're not giving it any choice. You're not listening to it. You're doing the opposite. Another thing is, know yourself. You don't know the power that you have if you don't know who you are. The good, the bad, the ugly, all your imperfections. Understand who you are and what you want. Understand your personality, because the more you know who you are, the more you are able to get rid of the ego. And I believe we have a caller. Salam alaikum. I need you to please reduce the radio and please listen to me just through the phone. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Why am I saying hello back to myself?
Hello, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I was talking to myself there for a moment. Salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. How are you, brother? Please reduce the radio.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, but I'm just trying. Yeah, I switch off the radio, but I can't hear you.
Okay, how about now? Is this better?
It's better.
Okay.
Thank you. This is Khalid Sawafi. I just came back home from my work, and I just, for my first time listening to such a very good, interesting program.
Oh, thank you.
With interesting topic. I like the discussion, and I thought it's better to participate with this.
Thank you so much for your time. So what are your thoughts?
I'm just calling from Sinau, and I just have, I want to share with you the Einstein thoughts about ego. And he defined ego that as ego equal to 1 divided by the knowledge.
1 divided by the knowledge.
The more the knowledge you have, the less the ego you have.
Subhanallah. The more knowledge you have, the less ego you have.
Yes. So it's ego equal to 1 divided by the knowledge.
Very interesting.
The more the knowledge you have, the lesser the ego you have.
Okay.
And I thought just to share with you this thing.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Khalid, for doing so. Thank you so much.
Barakallah fi. Shukran.
Afwan, ma'asalama. You see what I mean when I say that your contributions give a nice flavor to the show? See what I mean? Quote from Einstein, 1 over knowledge divided by knowledge. I think I'm getting this right. And it says the more knowledge you have, the lesser the ego. Subhanallah, isn't that wonderful? You see, guess what? You can be part of the show. You can do so by calling, Frank is laughing. You can do so by calling 24 60 20 58, 24 60 20 58. You are listening to Your Nation Station. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, on your program, Love Your Life. So we were going through things to manage this ego. So I mentioned, be aware of your ego, know thyself, because you can only truly change if you know who you're dealing with, and you need to know yourself in order to do that. Learn the difference between being right and making a point. And this is a point Saeed, I believe, mentioned, that he likes to share, and he shares things with confidence, but he doesn't mind being corrected. So then I told him he doesn't have an ego issue, because people who have ego issues, you don't like to be wrong, so you always want to be right. But the main thing is learn the difference between being right and making a point. Managing your ego does not mean abandoning your opinions. They are what they are, but in no way do you have to win the argument. Whatever discussion or points are being raised, it's not a competition. There's no winner at the end of this. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree. Guess what? That's the beauty of life. We don't always have to agree on everything and every point in life. We will have different views, different insights, and that's okay, because we are different. Although we are the same, we are different. You're more than welcome to join me. Share your thoughts, contributions, quotes, whatever rocks your boat. You can do so by calling 24 60 20 58, 24 60 20 58. Check your ego at the door. Be grateful. Not only is it a way to manage the ego. I really wish there was another word. I don't know how many times I've said ego today, but bear with me. This is what we're talking about. So not only is it, by being grateful, is not only a way to manage the ego, but it's a fundamental part of being happy. The whole point of this show, Love Your Life, is to make you realize that you have this life. You have a choice to be happy. We talk about topics that matter. Let me know what you think about ego. Do you have an ego issue? How do you deal with it? I highly doubt it that you're going to come on air and says, yes, I have an ego issue. But who knows? You can do so by calling 24 60 20 58, 24 60 20 58. A way to manage your ego is to choose your words carefully. Words are very powerful and have this way of piercing the heart, and it can hurt. So you really be careful how you say things, who you say it to, and what you are saying. And most essentially, what message are you trying to send? I'd love to hear from you, but call me right after the short break. Don't you? Oh, we have a caller. Okay, I can see. Frank. Okay. Salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I can't hear you. Can you please speak a little louder?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you, sister?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. I was listening to your beautiful voice. I was really impressed. Today's topic, mashallah, mashallah, you are very, very talented lady.
Habibti, thank you
so
much. May
God bless you.
Ameen, and may He bless you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to contribute one my points that about ego you are discussing today.
Yes.
So nowadays, the elders think whatever they decide for their younger, it's good for them. And after some time, they realize that what they decide for them is not correct. So that becomes ego for them. For that, they don't discuss any further with their younger that, oh my God, I have done something wrong with you. So with that ego point, they waste their life. So I pray with my heart that those who elders do these things should not follow this ego thing, because with this ego thing, they only don't face the problem of relationship broken.
Yes.
They will also face the problem in the world also, that everyone will notice, everyone will point out to them that, oh my God, you make a decision for them. Now see what they are facing. So just this point only I want to discuss with you here.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
My name is Warda Kashmiri.
Warda Habibti. Okay. Thank you very much, Warda.
I think I'm almost now a regular customer.
Of course you are.
Regular caller, sorry.
I'm so glad you are. Thank you so much for your contribution as well.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
May God bless you.
You
Bye-bye.
too, Habibti. Thank you so much. All right, so that's very true. Warda raised a point about the elders. The thing with elders is that, with all due respect to them, they can be very stubborn, which I think is very close to as well wanting to be right. And because they've lived longer, they've experienced life, they think they know more. And in true fact, they do. But I think as parents or grandparents, one can advise their young ones, okay, I think you should do that, but never impose whatever they think onto the young ones. Because as I said, we have this life, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the beauty of choosing how we live our life. We are surely going to do things wrong, but we're surely going to do things right. What we need our parents and our family to do is to guide us and support us. Not to say that don't do this, do it this way. This is imposing. My dear brother or sister or my daughter, my son, this is how I think you should do it, but I leave the choice up to you. And it's very difficult to convince them, but as you said, I hope maybe if any of parents out there who are listening in, don't impose, and even if you do, when it doesn't go right, be the bigger person and say sorry. It's not to risk losing your relationship with your family. With that, I shall take a short break and we shall be right back to discuss check your ego at the door on your nation station. Be right back.
Oman is a country full of treasures, from its people to its history, beaches to its mountains, deserts to its wadis. Show off your knowledge of this great country and win cash prizes with Talal this Ramadan on weeknights and Hafid every weekend from 10 p.m. to midnight. You can be a winner on Treasure Wadi.
Treasure Wadi.
Let the party begin.
Win cash prizes and surprises here on the Nation Station.
Love your life. Okay. Love your life. This is your show on your Nation Station. Welcome back. This is your host, Mayya Al Said, also known as the Sewist. If you've just tuned in, you've missed what happened to you. Where were you? Just kidding. Don't worry. This show will be repeated at 10 past midnight. And also all shows, I believe we're in episode 20, mashallah. So all past episodes are on my YouTube channel, The Sewist. You're more than welcome to go and have a listen. Today's topic is an interesting one. So say my callers, not me, my callers have told me that this is an interesting topic. I'm so glad. You're more than welcome to join me to discuss the topic of ego. And you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. If you've missed, let me just give you a small recap of what you've missed. We've talked about the definition of the word ego, that it is the self-importance, the I am important and I'm not going to back down. You know, that kind of feeling that we all have, by the way. It's not just a majority of people. We all have it, but some have it in a very minuscule kind of sense, and some really have it so big that it defines who they are, unfortunately. And also there's some ego talk, which things that go through your head when you're feeling kind of like that. And it can be two ways. Either you're better than somebody, or you think you are not good enough, because it has, although it's in the opposite directions, they both equal for you to feel this ego-ness. Don't even know if that's a word. Don't quote me. It affects your relationships. If you let this take over your relationships, no matter what they are, but especially your partner, your marriage, don't let ego get in the way, because you'll end up ruining a beautiful relationship, and you might even lose the person because of the way you think and the way you think you're better than them for whatever reason it is. Let me know your thoughts. I have a couple of minutes left, but might take one or two callers. If you're lucky, you can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Do it right now, but only do it if you are safe. Don't risk your life or the life of others around you, because guess what? You're important to me. We were talking about how to manage your ego. Just quickly saying that be aware of your ego. Snap out of it when you feel it's happening. Know yourself, because only by knowing yourself and know who you are and what you want can you really change things in you. Learn the difference between being right and making a point. There's no winning argument. There's no prize at the end of this. There's nothing. It's just sometimes we just have to exchange ideas. And the fact that we're talking, having a healthy debate is sometimes all that we need. Be grateful for what you have. And it's a way to manage ego, but also one of the fundamentals of having a happy life. Choose your words. Your words are very strong and can break hearts, so choose them carefully and always keep the end goal in mind. What do you want to achieve by sharing whatever it is that you want to share? See the good in others. Simple. Always always try and make excuses for somebody, especially somebody you care about. Don't let their actions, try and find words for their actions. Why did they do this? Don't always assume the worst. Don't always be negative. And as always, like in every of my episodes, I love to share quotes because I think it brings everything together beautifully. So one of the quotes, by the way, you're more than welcome to interrupt me with a call, You can do so by calling 2460 2058, 2460 2058. Check your ego at the door. Of any door, car door, home door, room door, whatever door you have, just check it, just leave it there and go on with your life. Now on to the quotes. Relationship dies. What? Relationships never... What did I write here? I can't read my own handwriting. Does this happen to you? But I'm saying here, relationship dies a normal death. Oh, now I got it. Relationship never dies an actual death. They always are murdered by ego, attitude, and ignorance. These three things can kill a relationship: your ego, your attitude, and your ignorance. So being better than somebody, what's the point? There is no winning. There is only ruining, breaking down people that matter to you. Again, you'll end up being alone if this is how you live your life. Your ego is your soul's worst enemy. Need I say more? Your ego is your soul's worst enemy. The ultimate aim of ego is not to see something, but to be something. When the whole fact of you being right, not wanting to change yourself for anything or anyone, that's your ego talking. And that's the sole goal of it, is to make you feel that you're better than anyone or you're not good enough. Ego, do we really want to give it that much power over your life? And that's all I have for you today. I thank you so much for your contributions, for your time, for tuning in to your nation station, Oman FM, for listening to me, for allowing me to share my thoughts with you, and for you calling me and interacting with me and sharing your thoughts in return. Tomorrow's episode is a nice one. It's about love, and it's called Love Unconditionally. May you always find a reason to smile. A reminder that this show will be repeated at 10 past midnight. You're more than welcome to listen to the previous episodes of Love Your Life on your nation station. From Frank, from myself, Mayya Al Said, I'm wishing you a good day, and ma'a salama. Love your life.
Love your life.
Love your life. Get ready to be inspired this Ramadan. A show like no other. One that aims to inspire you to live a life you love.
Love your life.
Love Your Life, daily from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m.
And will be repeated at 12 midnight. Love your life.
with our Sayyida Mayya Al Said
On your nation station, Oman FM.
Are you ready to love your life?